Good evening, everybody. Sean here again. How are you doing? Trying to get a little more consistent at this. Trying to do it more or less daily. Reach out, talk to people here on the wild, wild internet. So, if you saw the thumbnail that I put on this, I don't like to use a picture of my face because I can never get it right filming in not in portrait or in portrait, whatever it is. Anyways, that is a picture of Trans Mountain pipe getting unloaded in Kamloops in 1953. So the significance of using that as my thumbnail is that they were building stuff in 1953 that somehow we can't get done in 2018. So let that sink in for a second. We're moving backwards as a country. Backwards, not forwards. And we might not notice it yet, but if we keep moving backwards like that, quality of life in Canada is going to move backwards as well. That's my opinion. Because as you can see, if we're getting barrels of oil taken out of the ground, prices that are barely even worth it, it's just sucking money right out of the economy, sucking money right out of the pockets of governments, out of businesses, out of people. And sooner or later, that's just going to catch up with us. It's already happening in Calgary. Now, today, I snuck out of work and I went down to the protest at the Hyatt. And let me tell you, it really was an amazing feeling out there. There was thousands and thousands of Calgarians. They pinned it at 2,000, but could have been more. And there was a great feeling. The energy was powerful. The message we were trying to send to Trudeau, who was apparently having some sort of luncheon nearby, was, we got to build this pipe. Why aren't we building this pipe? We're not asking for much here. And so Trudeau was in town. I like how poofy my hair is today. And it's always poofy in a different way. Trudeau was in town. And he acknowledged that this was a crisis, which is good. But he didn't acknowledge his government's role in the crisis, such as by canceling Northern Gateway, by not supporting Trans Mountain expansion, not shepherding that along, not getting that built, which they should be doing. I'm glad they own it. That's step one in admitting their mistake there. But we got to get it built. It's no good to us if it's pumping the same amount of oil, and I think it pumps a little diesel and even jet fuel. But it's the same amount. We need to pump more. We're beyond capacity for our pipeline now in Canada. And it's killing us. Just killing us. China is killing us on trade, Trump says. Well, America is killing us on pipelines, and that's boosting Trump's economy. So pat yourself on the back, Greenpeace. On that one, you're giving Donald a real assist. Make America great again. That's Greenpeace's slogan, isn't it? Those idiots. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, so we went to the Sing. It was great. Great energy. No masks, no violence, because we're all working people who just want government to get out of the way so we can actually flourish, so we can actually build something. I know that's crazy, and I've been seeing on the internet a lot of people, more or less from Eastern Canada, saying, well, isn't asking for government help for oil the same as Bombardier asking for government help? And no, it's not. Bombardier is asking for money, cash, straight up front. All we're asking for is the government to get out of the way with stupid legislation like Bill C-69, a few of these other things the Liberals have done. The tanker ban was that Bill C-48. I forget all these numbers. The tanker ban, canceling Northern Gateway, that was a huge mistake. Just get out of the way of business. That's not. We're not asking for 400 million like Bombardier does every year or two. We're just asking for government to get out of the way. So if you can't see the difference between those two things, one, just asking government to get out of the way, and that's not being unreasonable. The regulations that are in place and have been in place prior to the Liberals coming into power are top-notch. Anyone who knows anything about oil will tell you that. Our environmental regulations are stringent. We're not asking for those to be repealed. We're just asking for some of these projects to help get shepherded along so they can actually get built. Got interrupted there. Yeah, so we're not asking for money. So we're not begging for money from the government. We're just asking for some reasonable laws. We're asking for laws that have been on the books to be enforced in a reasonable way. And just for people to take the 35,000-foot view here of where our country's going with this. We're just hemorrhaging money, hemorrhaging good jobs. I have a number of friends who I got one buddy moved to Victoria, one buddy moved to Vancouver. Two friends work 4 days a week out of Toronto. Many friends working out of Texas, and it's just because they couldn't work here anymore and keep their kids in school, so they had to go. And I don't see how that's good for our country to have young bright people working elsewhere, contributing to other economies. It's a loss for us. So I hope that the message was heard by Mr. Trudeau. So now, and then Trudeau, his statement today, he said, well, Western Canada is in a crisis, but doesn't acknowledge, one, his government's huge role in the crisis, which is basically stepping on Alberta's neck. So, Mr. Trudeau, please just take your foot off our neck, okay, for one. Okay? And then two, acknowledges no pathway forward. Doesn't talk about any solutions at all. Doesn't talk about getting rid of C-69. Doesn't talk about figuring out some way to revive Northern Gateway or legislate Kinder Morgan Trans Mountain expansion, which the government now owns. Get that thing built. No solutions. No leadership. That's what this boils down to. No leadership. No leadership from our PM, no leadership from the Liberal government here. And Alberta's suffering and Canada is suffering as a result. So take that to the bank. That's all I have to say about that. And I'll give this to Rachel Notley. At least she's trying. She's a day late and a dollar short on this thing. She's years behind. When she could have been advocating these things, she didn't want Northern Gateway. I don't think she really cared about Keystone XL. And, now we're in a position where she's talking about buying locomotives. But at least she's looking forward. Okay, Mr. Trudeau, listen there. At least she's trying to move forward on this thing. So I give her props on that. Kudos to Rachel Notley. Better late than never, Rachel. And keep it up. We got to make something work here. Anyway, so, yeah. I just wanted to talk about that, get that off my chest. Had a great time at the rally. Got some sun even, which was nice. And, my throat is a little sore. Was at the Flames game last night. Flames pumped the Jets. It feels good. And, yeah. Anyways, something's got to give on this pipeline thing. Seriously, it's kind of strange. The places where you hear people talking about Alberta separation, it's not just sort of your fringy sort of wild farmer welder type guys. It's everywhere. It's in downtown Calgary. People are talking, well, geez, we need to get a referendum going and figure out some sort of plan to separate, maybe take Saskatchewan with us. It's not weird, crazy people. It's a mainstream thing now in Alberta. So look out and pay some attention, please. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that. So a favor from you, if you've listened this long, if you could please leave me a comment. I'm not asking you to subscribe or like the video, but if you did like it or you want to subscribe, feel free. But drop me a comment just because I'm kind of curious who are the 2 or 3 people who watch these things on my weird YouTube channel. So drop me a line and I'll say hi to you back and thank you for watching. Anyways, I hope you're having a good day. One thing about Albertans is even all through the Depression, you look at the people who live in Alberta. It's mostly, my my grandparents were on the farm in the Depression. Half the people in Calgary have grandparents or parents who moved from Saskatchewan, remember the Depression. So, we keep going, even if we gotta move to Texas or whatever. But we keep working. and keep grinding it out. I mean, we get nothing back for it from the federal government except a slow chokehold. But we'll just keep going. I'll be back in the office tomorrow. You know, just doing my thing, trying to send a few bills out and pay some bills and some taxes and all that good stuff. So, anyways, drop me a line and say hello, introduce yourself. Happy to meet you, and thank you for watching. Okay, have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.